So, I finally figured out how to make AI trigger a spawn of anything in scenario framework. So this is based on the scenario framework. I've been watching some videos from, what's his name, Blackheart 6. So we have these little guys. This is the first AI I made in scenario. They are here somewhere. Have some movement points around, of course. And then, after a while, when I figured out using triggering the areas to another area to trigger a spawn of the other AI unit. So this area here, have the AI group layer with this specific patrol. Now I added this slot kill for further task, that if they trigger this it will become a task to kill this, but we will see. And their waypoints, which are around here, back and forth. Then you have the other area, which is the area for the trigger of this unit. So these units, now they are just called layer 8 and 9 and everything, but this is the area. This area contains the movement points of these AI units and the layer for the actual AI. So how do you set that up? Yes, what you do is when you make an area, scenario framework area, go into the scenario framework area. The activation should be on each, depending on your how you want to be, how you want to do it. But basically, an area that triggers something needs to be active. So, but you can also have maybe a dynamic spawn, but then it's also in it, so it doesn't matter. Or you can make your own condition, etc., etc. So, what you have to use is you have to have a trigger on the area, and the radius should be triggered once or twice, or once or multiple times. But the trigger resource should be a character trigger, whichever you want actually. I think it actually made it into the scenario framework character trigger when you are in scenario framework, but you can take the scenario character trigger character for this, what I know. If you take trigger any player, then it will not take the AI. It will take only players on the map. So if I would take this, it will only go for me. It will not go for any other type of character, like an AI or such. What I know, you put the trigger. This is the source for what will happen, or that it's activated. On activation is the thing that happens when this area becoming active. So the trigger actions here are just because I saw it, I have a wait and execute. This means it will wait this step for this amount of seconds until it does the other items. And what you do then in the trigger action is that you go into an add and then you take spawn object. Then you take the activation type. It should do this trigger when it's on trigger. Then you just post in the name of the layer that you want to trigger, that you have in this nested area, that this area trigger is in. So in this case, let's see, here you go. So the trigger and activation is done in the area, but you activate the layer. So the layer 9 here is this layer, which is the AI. So it will activate the layer of the AI when the area becomes triggered. As you saw in the beginning video, there was no AI. So they will be triggered when the area becomes triggered by the character, which is the AI. Layer 8 is just have activation as same as parent, which is activated on it. So it's always active. And for you to understand, if you didn't know, this is you can basically just spawn the AI. It will stand there, do whatever, patrol around the area or in the defend is the default. However, I made some waypoints for them to do what to do, go anywhere. So there is 2 slots here, one for the in the layer, one for the actual AI unit soldiers, and one for the car. So they will spawn together. On the slot with the AI, object spawn, just took a group, US group, and to make them go, use the waypoints. You just you go down to the framework slot AI, you go to waypoints, set it to waypoint set. Then you just type in your name of your layer where you have the waypoint. Or you can take the name of the waypoint also. But if you do that, it might, if you don't have a cycle or such, it won't repeat itself. So take the first one and then you can stack the waypoint slots however you want inside with names or something like that. Layer 8, waypoint 1, layer 8. And then you can just type in the name of the first where you want them to spawn and go from, so to speak. Otherwise they will spawn on the first slot. So that's how you use the waypoint. You can, so in this layer of the waypoints, there is the first one I have here. You see the name is not the same, but they are in the specific order. In the slots, there is waypoint get in nearest, because I was lazy to get in to put on which one. I guess the completion radius will be that they get into any vehicle around that area. And holding time, which can be probably reduced. You can allow a gunner, allow a driver, etc., etc. Maybe it's static, so you don't allow them to drive. Maybe you can probably do group settings at the same time, and then it will just do the next slot waypoints in the layer. So now there's a move. They actually did start to move, as you saw. They had a long hold, so but they started to move, but they initialized fire because they saw the enemy troops. So then they became autonomous. I do not know yet how to make them from autonomous to non-autonomous. If something happens, maybe you can use this like a setting something that happens when something activates. I know you can do that activation like on it, in it you can use action, no, AI, wait and exit to fail, AI group, no, should be maybe not in this one, but let's see here. Staggered groupies, action AI, action AI, plug, is it plugin maybe? Premium plugin, spawn point, maybe not. Well, I know you can make them not aggro, etc., etc. You can make their combat anything you want, depending on what you do. Oops. So that's how I got them to work, to spawn. Next thing is that I want to be able to select which character faction. I believe you can use faction control trigger entity somehow. However, this is a trigger. It's not an area, so I don't know how to mix up layers inside this trigger. Really, that's what I will be working on this weekend, I think. So, and then some other minor updates is, of course, I made some more. I'm detail oriented, so I looked into a little bit of the coastal line. Not so much, but a little bit. And that's the terrain texture, of course. Another terrain texture. It's so easy to just make a new one. I'm quite happy with it. I have two. New terrain texture for, yeah, you don't see it, for a lake bed. I can probably change some color, but it's pretty fine for me. This will give you some more options, and I think this one is probably will be the default. And then I actually have another one where you have these seaweeds. Here you are. When you have these seaweeds, there is no other possibility for. So like this is where like area of where it's old stuff like the reeds, etc. For example, these are actually objects. These they are called fucus vesiculus or something. I don't know. There is some bug though. If I go in here, you see they are laying down. It actually looks pretty good. If I go in here, look on this coastline. In game, you see they are tilted. They weren't that from the very beginning when I placed them down, so I probably have to remake them somehow. Or do something. I think it happened when I... Oh, yeah, the pop-up came because I have a trigger for a pop-up when that area is being triggered for the AI here. I give a pop-up. See, now they went to attack first. Probably because earlier I had them here, so they couldn't see them, so they attacked. No, they saw them first. I will just let them fight. So yeah, that's how it looks. And if you go and see how this looks, I have some of this seaweed in the here. This is how it looks now with the water and everything I made earlier. It looks okay. Not more than okay. Fairly okay. I wanted to find some kind of plant that exists in Sweden. We have in water, but could not find it. They are a little bit more green. They are not leaf. They are, yeah. Maybe I can find it now. So that's how that look. And if you go into this area, we don't have any of these. I know I have a far out here somewhere. So that's the default, which is some kind of dirt I had in the beginning. So that actually looks pretty good. The only thing is that the water is still too clear, but when you made it unclear it became very weird with the lighting. But this looks pretty... you can have this kind of water in this lake also, so I'm happy. We still haven't killed each other. They actually fell back, one of them. Yeah, they killed one. And here, none is dead. I'm gonna be able to make a task when these guys get in. It should open up a task to kill them. We'll see how I do that.